welcome to my podcast. This is a podcast where I bring you inspirational stories on business and mindset to help you courageously and confidently achieve success beyond anything that you dream possible. I'm your host, Michelle Quay. I'm a visibility confidence coach and the founder of Elevate Life Coaching. Let's just say that I know a few things about overcoming seemingly impossible obstacles in life and in business. My goal is to get you out there in your world so that you can stop playing small. Welcome to the show. Hey, beautiful. Do you have a message you would like to share with the world, but aren't quite sure how to? Are you a woman coach who is trying so hard to get out there to the world so the clients can find you? Listen, I got you, girl. Getting your message out there takes time and effort, but more importantly, it takes some practice, patience, and a roadmap that tells you how to get there. Join me on a 5-day Brave Your Brand challenge where I will show you the 5 steps roadmaps to tell your brand confidently and courageously so that you can get from invisible to impactful. This is where we lay down all the foundation that you need in building a successful personal brand for your coaching business. Let me just warn you though, this challenge is not for the faint of heart. It is intense and it will push you out of your comfort zone to get out there and get seen, get heard, and get hired. But don't worry though, I will be with you every step of the way to brave your brand. Are you ready to brave with me? Head over to members.elevatelifecoaching.org/brave your brand and join our waitlist today. See you inside the challenge. Now, I don't know about you, but money is always on the top of my mind. We either don't have enough, we're trying to do the things that we wanted to do and to do all the passion and love that we brought into the coaching business. But then money always get in the way. So I need you to do me a favor. If you're watching this is live, go ahead and drop typing live. You're watching this live. If you're watching this as a replay later, then help me and type in #replay to let me know that you are interested to learn more about money. Now, why money? Well, money is pretty good. Money is a tool. Money is a resource. Money is a lot of things. It helps us entrepreneur to do many things. So what is your money mindset right now? If you're one, your money is never enough. So just go ahead and type in 1, money is never going to be enough. Or 2, money is in abundance. It's always floating into the world. It's just a matter of getting it into your pocket. So 1 is money is never enough. And number 2 is money is in abundance. So let me know where you are on that scale so that we can talk more about what money is. Today, I am truly excited because this is obviously very important for someone if you are a woman coach who's starting out your business or you are an entrepreneur who's trying to get your business going. Katy, my friend Katy Almstrom is a financial coach and money mentor who is also the founder of Simplified Budget. She works with women entrepreneurs to create their clear system for their money that makes them feel confident in the CEO role week after week. With over a decade of experience in teaching and coaching, combined with her own financial success and simplified life, Katy provides a very unique service to her clients to help them to slow down, map out their joyful journey, and create that financial freedom and living a life that's always less stress around money. I need that. I don't know about you, but I need that. Can I get a raise of hand if you feel that you need that too? All right, please join me with a warm welcome. Let's bring Katy onto the show. Hi, Katy.
I was just sitting back listening to you like, this is going to be awesome. And I was like, oh, I'm going on.
You're going on. You are on, girl.
That was just such a fun introduction, and what a great just way to sort of get this kicked off. So I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you so much for coming. And I think this is a very, very important topic. I mean, a lot of people don't talk about it. We don't openly share, hey, money is a struggle for me, or hey, I got a lot of it and here's my tip. And I think the scale tend to be really focusing on, hey, I can help you making 6 and 7 figure, but no one really talk about how do we get to that point. I mean, everybody start with 0, like in reality, right? Yeah. So I really appreciate you coming out to the show and bringing something that's very valuable, very important to know starting out in our coaching business or any stage of our coaching business.
Yeah. And I think you bring up so many really excellent points there. One that kind of comes to the forefront for me right away is just this idea that you don't really know what everyone else is going through. And it's so easy for us to portray something that's not reality. And in the coaching space, especially in the online business world, especially, it is so easy to see social media, to see posts, to see what people are saying about their own experiences in their businesses. That's not true. It's not the whole picture. And I think that, like, going into this conversation, that is a huge caveat and just a huge message, especially to newer entrepreneurs, is like, what you see is not the whole story. And everyone is starting from scratch. And no matter how much money you are bringing in or how much you have currently, if you are not doing the daily or weekly or monthly habits, and I'm even going to say the word disciplines, because as CEOs, like, discipline is not a bad word. Like, we need it. We need structure. We need disciplines. That's what gives us this freedom to have the businesses that we love. It's what gives us freedom to grow. And so if you're doing those things with your money from the beginning, if you're paying attention, if you're not shying away from it, even if it feels like nothing, even if it feels like a little bit, getting into that habit is going to make everything so much easier when you have bigger months. I have a client that comes to mind, and this sort of circles back to the don't believe what you see on social media, where she had a month where she had a lot of great revenue come in, right? She signed a couple of projects and they were sort of like done for you projects. She did some copywriting, and she had her first 10K month, right? Like, everybody loves that 10K month, right? And so the month before, I think she made $1,800 in her business. And then she had this like big, exciting 10K month. And I kind of roll my eyes at that because I'm like, yeah, okay. Like, how did it work for you? Right? Like, what happened to the 10K? And I'm not trying to be cynical here, but like, I've just seen this enough now where, she immediately signed on with two more coaches and another program. It was gone. It was out the door before it even came in. And the irony is she was on payment plans. Mm-hmm. So she had to produce another 10K the next month, or else she was going to be totally stressed. So number one, she didn't pay herself anything. She only created more stress for her, where now she had to make more money. And it was just like, it didn't even sit in her bank account for 2 seconds. It was in and out. And her coach wrote a big, beautiful post about 10K a month. And, so it was like splashed all over the internet and all these groups. And the thing is, she didn't have the skills yet. She didn't have the habits yet to know what to do with that money when it came in, to be able to ground her, to be able to let her sort of settle into this new stage and create the space and reduce the pressure around getting clients so that she could just enjoy it and do the work and repeat what she did to do it again. Instead, she created a whole new set of circumstances that required a lot more money and a lot more pressure. That was a lot right in the kickoff, but
no, I love it. I love it because I do see a trend where, even the coaches I work with and also just potential clients who reach out to me and I noticed that a lot of us entrepreneurs and coaches, we all jump from program to program, keep thinking that, this program is great. I've learned so much. You're going to go to the next program. This person is teaching me that and teaching me this. It's kind of sad that I can't, I know this for myself as well. I caught myself wanting to do that. And when you really think about it, it's really sad because in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, why is there not a single person who can just take my business, tell me what to do, right? Going from zero to where I want to be in just one complete program. I have to go to this coach for that thing, that coach for that thing. And doing that, it means that I'm spending a lot of money on each program, and they're not cheap. I mean, we're not cheap.
No, they're not. No. And you know why that is? I mean, of course, is because that'd be like saying, like, hire someone to tell you how to live your life in every area. I mean,
yeah, there's like the whole wheel of life that we learn in coaching, right? The whole wheel of life. Why can't just one single person have every single thing, right?
That's right. That's right. Well, and I think, just to sort of answer that, because that's something I've been thinking about a lot lately too. And, I was one of those people in 2020 when the shutdowns happened, where my business primarily was word of mouth, referrals, local, and in group settings, right? So it essentially evaporated overnight, and I had to shift to the online space. So in 2020, I was in a deep, dark rabbit hole of shiny object syndrome. I mean, I was doing everything. It was like I needed everybody to support me. I needed to buy all the programs. And essentially, I, took a year then off of doing that and sort of whittled that back and realized, okay, what is it that I actually do? And what do I actually need? And I've been joking kind of with my community recently that I bought a $7 workshop a couple of weeks ago because I knew that it was actually the thing that I needed. It was the priority in my business right now that I'm working on. And, a lot of people roll their eyes and be like, $7, like it's actually what I needed, right? It was the program
that $7. Tell us more. I think people want to know what's that $7.
So it was, do you mean what was it?
Yeah. What was it?
Yeah, it was a workshop about, like clarifying your offer. And so I recently have gone through a bit of a rebrand where I'm focusing less on women in general with money stress and more on online entrepreneurs and really helping them with their irregular income and just and money in general, right? I'm a one-on-one coach. So, I cover a lot, but in my marketing, it's a lot more focused on the entrepreneur. And so that's what I wanted support around. And so it's a coach that, and ironically, I'm now in her program, but I knew I was like, this is what I've done all the other work. I've simplified, I take my own advice, right? Simplifying is very much a part of my brand and my life. My business is simplified. And this is what I wanted to focus on, was really getting that messaging clear to the entrepreneur. And so all that to say, it was just $7, but it was so clearly aligned with what I needed. But seemingly no money. So I guess the point there is that sometimes when money comes into our business or when it goes out of our business, we don't really pay attention. Some entrepreneurs, as they start to get a little bit more comfortable and advanced, right, in their business, they might get a little messy where they are paying for Google and Dropbox and Calendly and like all these different services. And they stop realizing that it's on their credit card auto pay and they're not even using it anymore. And so these little bits just kind of eat away, and it drains kind of some energy from us when we don't have our finger on the pulse. I mean, money is the lifeblood of your business. And so if we don't have the finger on the pulse, it's going to just feel really, really uncomfortable, even subconsciously. So I just think that $7 example is so important because it made a huge difference in me and a big impact on my business because it was so aligned with what I needed. And it had that real like intention around it. So,
yeah, what I'm hearing is that you took a moment to really ask yourself, what what makes me feel more supportive in this stage of my business, and what would actually help me to go to the next stage and going to the next stage. So it's not just, oh, I really like that program, I think it's going to benefit, let me just purchase it and see what happens. So instead, you're aligning yourself in terms of where you are on that journey, on that stage of business. I'm curious though, because we talk a lot about why this is a thing. This is important for us to talk about. How would you get someone started?
If I'm working with them as a client?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think first and foremost is knowing really what they want out of their business and their life right now. So I kind of hesitated there because I was thinking about, I was on a call earlier today with a woman who has her own podcasting business, and she's married and her spouse works and basically supports their family, right? So but there's a lot of like personal issues, a lot of business issues. And, she's crying on the call, and it kind of came to this point. This was a consultation, right? She's not even a client yet. Yeah. But she was just so overwhelmed with business and personal and communication and credit card debt and wanting to invest in herself and not knowing what to do next, right? And so a lot of it is just take a deep breath. And the message that I gave to her, there was kind of three things. Mm-hmm. So one was, you're not going to stay in this spot for long if you choose to move, right? So like, we're not going to be here. We're not going to be here in this moment. We're not going to be in this position financially, physically, mentally, like any of it, unless we choose to stay here. And it always is a choice. And so what I said to her was, you're not going to be here forever. Like, we can choose to do something differently. And I actually recommended to her, she's invested in a couple of other coaching programs. I said, I want you to choose to really dig into those. I want you to feel like you're getting a return on your investment. And if you don't, it's okay. You don't need to make yourself wrong for investing in them. But let's honor that money that we already spent. Let's honor that investment that we made to ourselves. And I said, I'm happy to be here in a few months if you want to have more support on the money side. But like, let's start with honoring what you've done and really like reinvigorate that investment and that money and change the story around how we feel about spending that money. Right. And so I think that's one thing a lot of early entrepreneurs can do. If you find yourself in a situation where, like, I'm really stressed out because I put $1,800 on a credit card for this program, and now I'm not showing up to the calls, and oh my God, like, I don't know what to do. Like, how about take 30 days and show up to the calls and actually like reinvigorate yourself in that program and see what you can get out of it. And I know that's a lot easier said than done, but that's one thing. It was just kind of like, let's just take a step back and see, like, what do we have access to now? What do we have available to us? And let's go let's go make something out of that. Let's go get the most out of that. The other thing I said to her was to stop putting so much pressure on herself to pay off debt. Right? That is an external message that we hear a lot. And if you are in a position where you don't have a lot of savings, or you feel like getting through the month, you're relying on a credit card, or you don't really know how much money you have coming in or going out, then let's just take a pause. Again, like, let's take a pause, deep breath, reset. What do we have? And instead of putting extra towards credit cards or a car payment or a mortgage, let's just do the minimum for a few months and put some money in savings and just start to create a little bit of a buffer, whether this is personal or business. It depends on who I'm talking to here. But if money feels stressful in business and like, I have to get the next client, a lot of times it's because there's pressure or uncertainty at home. And that can come from just not having resources available if we need them. So that's a very, very basic sort of first step. But it's like, let's take a deep breath, relax about the debt as much as possible, because I know it can be really heavy and feel very intense and very real. Like, this is a problem that needs to be solved. But it will not be solved without a little bit of spaciousness and a little bit of some buffers built in. And that ability to learn how to stop using it, right? If that is the thing that you're working on. So that's a very specific example of this one particular call, this one particular client I talked to, but I think it'll probably resonate with a lot of people listening.
It does, and as you're talking about this case study, it actually brought back a lot of memory because I remember when I first started out, I had save up a little bit from my other full time job, but I was at the point where I'm looking at $2,000 in my saving account. Like we're talking about $2,000 saving account,
Yeah.
and I had things, subscriptions, calendars, right? All these programs that I have to keep spending on money.
Mhm.
And I was in a panic mode. And what really shifted is exactly what you talked about, to going back and looking at what are some of the things that I can get rid of that would help me a little more, and just by working with what I had. And I noticed also during that time, a lot of that money energy was bringing into my coaching session with a potential clients, and
Yes.
I'm bringing that energy, and it is causing me tons because people sense it. People sense that scarcity, and they no longer want to sign up with me, even though they were so interested wanting to join or sign up in the first place. So I can definitely relate to that. So I think one of the things that you had talked about are disciplines. What are some of the disciplines that coaches can bring into their business, right? Start from the beginning.
Well, I think what you just brought up there is a really important one. And that is two there. One is just keep it simple. From the beginning, keep it simple. And if there is a time when you feel like I have to cut back some things, I have to, temporarily pause the subscription or whatever, because it really feels like I don't have the bandwidth for it with money, know that that's temporary, and know that, just 90 days of really keeping things sort of truly simplified can make all the difference. And business changes in a heartbeat. I mean, you can have a bad week and then have an amazing week. I mean, it changes so quickly. So giving yourself that patience when you're in that period of, I need to just do a reset and kind of, cut back and simplify, know that it's temporary and it will not last forever. And again, it's a choice, but it can feel so good to do that work. So, but the more you can keep it simple from the beginning, invest in one thing at a time, right? If you're working with coaches or joining new programs, it is so easy to spend, a week with one thing and say, well, I haven't gotten a client yet. I better go over here and try this thing over here. Just having that faith that all of this takes time. And the more you jump around and the more you divert your energy and get distracted, I see all the roads verging in different areas. If you are lacking focus with your money and your energy, you're not going to be successful in any one of those things. So really keeping it simple and keeping it focused from the beginning is super, super important. And the other thing, what was the other thing? There's something else that you said that was really smart. I'm not remembering. Oh, I know what it was about the energy that you bring, right, on a call or with a client. Practicing, it can be so hard. It can be so hard when money really is feeling tight. But practicing that detachment from what's going to happen on the call, right? Are you going to get the client or not? And I think the best way to do that for me, in my experience, because that's happened to me early on, even if we had plenty of savings, like as a business owner, you still want to make money. Like there's nothing wrong with that. But practicing that, if you got someone on a call who's interested in working with you, guess what? You can do it again. So let's again, ground our faith in that and keep our process simple so that we can just repeat that. Because then it's like, if I'm on a call with Michelle and it's like, well, you're my only sales call scheduled for the next 3 weeks. Yeah, that's a big deal. Like I'm going to feel that pressure. Like this has to be the client. But if I have 2 today and 1 tomorrow and a few scheduled next week, it's a totally different story. So when it comes to, shifting our money mindset, a lot of people are like, you can just sit in your head and practice detaching. But the best way to detach is get more sales calls booked, honestly. And by keeping things simple with your money and with your energy as you get going, I mean, it really doesn't take long. It really doesn't take long. So that's kind of, those are a couple of pieces of advice that I wish I had taken sooner when I jumped into the online space, that ironically were a lot easier to do when I was sort of in my, not brick and mortar, but local, doing like work with local people, because there weren't that many distractions. All I could do was like meet people and talk to them. You know, like there were no funnels. I didn't really do emails. Like there was no distractions. So
Yeah, yeah. I think what's interesting is, the way that I started to learn that detachment is like simply what you said. I was spending a lot of time, energy in thinking about, oh, I'm not going to be able to sign up with this client. So instead of focusing on that, what I did, and this is how I got into content marketing, is because, instead of thinking about that, I started to focus on what is it that I can do to actually get people more interested in what I have to say and what I have to do and what I can do for them. So I started to focus on creating content, writing blogs, doing podcasts, and all these started to lead people and guide people into my door and say, oh, she's talking about a topic that I'm really interested in. And that's how this discovery call started to kick in. And so that's how I got into content marketing, and that totally shifted my money mindset. And I actually sat down with my money, and I don't know if you have done this with your clients too, where you have a conversation with your money.
Oh, interesting. I have not done that.
So one of my friend who happened to be a money coach, and she told me that, why don't you just sit down one day after meditation and just invite your money to the coffee table and just have a talk with the money. And so money to me is very masculine. It's a masculine energy. It's about doing things, getting things done. And so the money who came to my table, it was a man. It was a man who sat at my table, and I was just having a conversation with that person. Yeah, it was very interesting.
So interesting. So you didn't have a pile of cash sitting on your table.
No,
That's what I just
an actual masculine image of money, and who came in through my door, sat in front of my coffee table, and gave me a hug, and that totally released the energy that was holding me back. And because I kept worrying about the $2,000. So
yeah.
I would love to keep you. And I know you have so much more things to offer and to share, but I know you're a busy person and you got to run. So is there any last word of advice?
We can do this again. Last piece of advice, truly, I mean, my brand is the Simplified Budget. It is to just start simple. It is to just focus on one thing at a time. And that can be really hard to do on your own because we're emotionally attached to our money and how we spend it, how we spend our time, how we live our lives, right? And it's all connected. So, but as an entrepreneur, whether you are just starting out or you've been at this for a little bit of time, think about what are some ways I can just make all of it easier and simpler. So simpler by cutting things out that aren't helping, and easier by just eliminating steps that aren't necessary, right? And I would love to share more about that. May I share kind of where people can hang out with me?
Of course. Are you kidding me? I know these people are going to be asking, okay, Michelle, cut through the chase. Just tell me where to find Katy.
Well, so there's two really good places. Three, if you're watching this sooner rather than later. The first is I have my own podcast called the Simplified Budget Podcast, and that is where I'm actually coaching one of my clients, and you get to listen to our sessions. It is so cool. It follows me and my client for 6 months. Season 1 just wrapped up, so you can binge the whole 6-month podcast. And season 2 will be launching in June. I also have a Facebook group, which is where I show up every week live. That's the Simplified Budget. And lastly, if you hear this before May 10th, I am running a workshop called Mind Your Money. It is for entrepreneurs who want to feel less messy with money and more magnetic. So we're going to be talking about irregular income, how to make it feel more consistent, but also that piece, that magnetic piece. How do we relax a little bit about money so that when we're on a sales call, when we're trying to bring in more money, we're magnetic. We're not feeling that desperation and pushing those clients away. So a lot going on in that workshop. We start May 10th, and you can learn more about that by joining my group or just reaching out to me. I'd love to chat.
And then you do have a website, right? Can people find
it? It is under construction right now. It is under construction. But
Okay.
I will by the end of the year.
So the best place would be going into the group, the Simplified Budget on Facebook, to learn more about, number one, the workshop, and also about the podcast.
Absolutely. Yep. Beautiful.
Yay! I love to keep you more, but I know you got to run. So
I have to go get my kids. My husband's in Texas, so I'm all by myself. I thought I was going to have help getting them, but I don't. Sorry.
No, that's a reality of being an entrepreneur and being a mom, right? It's all part of our life. Yeah. Thank you so much, Katy, for coming.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'll talk to you soon.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, beautiful. Thanks for listening. Ever feel like you are out in the battle by yourself in this world? I know I did. If you found values from this podcast and you are a woman coach who is ready to launch your coaching career and looking for strategies to get seen, get heard, and get hired, I want to invite you to check out additional resources in launching your coaching business by visiting my website at elevatelifecoaching.org. This show is made possible by listeners like you. I would love for you to support me by subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform. And don't forget to give me a thumbs up and a heartfelt review. See you at my next tea party. Bye now.